Plato's theory of forms is one of the most influential and important metaphysical theories in the history of philosophy. It is a complex theory, but the basic idea is that there are two realms of reality, the physical world and the world of forms. The physical world is the world that we experience with our senses. It is a world of change, decay, and imperfection. The world of forms, on the other hand, is a world of perfect, unchanging, and eternal entities. The forms are the abstract ideals or essences of things. For example, there is a form of justice, a form of beauty, and a form of goodness. Plato believed that the physical world is a pale imitation of the world of forms. All physical objects are imperfect copies of their corresponding forms. For example, no physical object is perfectly just, beautiful, or good. However, the forms themselves are perfect and unchanging. Plato's theory of forms has a number of important implications. First, it suggests that the true nature of reality is not what it appears to be. The physical world is constantly changing and decaying, but the world of forms is eternal and unchanging. Second, the theory of forms suggests that there are objective standards of value. For example, the form of justice is the standard by which all acts of justice are measured. Plato also believed that the human soul is immortal and that it pre-existed the body. He argued that the soul must have had contact with the world of forms before it was incarnated in a physical body. This is because we have knowledge of the forms, even though we have never experienced them directly in the physical world. The theory of forms has been criticized for a number of reasons. One criticism is that the forms are abstract and unknowable. How can we know that the forms exist if we can never experience them directly? Another criticism is that the theory of forms is dualistic, meaning that it divides reality into two separate realms, the physical world and the world of forms. This dualism has been seen by some as problematic. Despite these criticisms, the theory of forms remains an important and influential metaphysical theory. It has had a profound impact on Western philosophy, and it continues to be debated and discussed by philosophers today. Here are some of the key features of Plato's theory of forms. The forms are abstract, perfect, unchanging, and eternal entities. The physical world is a pale imitation of the world of forms. All physical objects are imperfect copies of their corresponding forms. The forms are the standard by which all physical objects are measured. The human soul is immortal and has pre-existed the body. We have knowledge of the forms because the soul came into contact with them before it was incarnated in a physical body. Plato's theory of forms can be illustrated with the following analogy. Imagine a cave. Inside the cave, there are prisoners who have been chained up since birth. The prisoners can only see the shadows of objects that are being cast on the wall of the cave by a fire behind them. The prisoners believe that the shadows are the real world. One day, one of the prisoners is freed from his chains and turns around. He sees the fire and the objects that are casting the shadows. He realizes that the shadows are not the real world, but merely illusions. He then escapes from the cave and sees the real world for the first time. Plato's theory of forms suggests that we are like the prisoners in the cave. We are chained down by our senses, and we can only see the shadows of the real world. The real world, the world of forms, is beyond our senses. However, if we can free ourselves from the chains of our senses, we can see the world of forms for what it is. Plato believed that the education process is a way to free ourselves from the chains of our senses and to see the world of forms more clearly. Through education, we can learn about the forms and come to understand the true nature of reality.